Peace and light. That old guy Australia on YouTube, but how long I don't know. They've already given me a warning that my account will be deleted without any other warning. So, but you can find me on BitChute and OE58 over on Rumble. This is my favourite place. Down the beach. You know, I've got my best memories growing up in Australia. Down here in the beautiful far south coast, you know, fishing and surfing. And I've also got some of the worst memories as well, you know, horrendous abuse and a lot of drugs, a lot of issues, a lot of personal issues that I had to deal with, you know. It's a bit of a shame it takes so long to deal with issues in your life, you know. A guy told me the other day that one of our local lakes had filled up. And it had so much water in it that the locals were complaining because their backyards were flooding and whatever else. And it was, you know, more rain predicted because we're in La Nina. The lakes are never going to get lower, they're going to keep filling, and they pose a bit of a threat. So they opened the lake, and of course everything went out. And that includes the fish. And I wondered about the fish that are in that lake, you know, they're born and bred in that lake. They don't know any different than that lake. Swimming around in that lake, and suddenly they feel this kind of pull, like a tidal pull. And they may be not even sure what it is, but something in their DNA tells them that there's a change. And they begin swimming. Not necessarily knowing where, but moving, and they're out of the current, and they're thinking, hey, there's something different here. The water's moving, you know, and they begin to go back into that current, and they follow that current, and they get stronger and stronger, and they get a little excited probably, and then they begin to realise within their own DNA, right down on a cellular level, that they're off on a whole new adventure. And suddenly the tide is strong, and the current's really strong, and the pull's strong, and they go out to sea. Now, suddenly they're in this massive ocean. Like, they don't know anything, there's no landmarks, they're not familiar with anything that's around them. And there's a heap more new predators, you know? I think a lot of us feel like that. You know, we've been stuck in this lake, and it's been closed off to the ocean, you know, and we've grown up in it. We don't know any different. It's just how it is. Now suddenly there's this massive worldwide pull, you know, the matrix is falling apart. It's crumbling, you know, energies are shifting. The narrative's changing, and it can't last. And a lot of us have felt this pull. Even a lot of people who've been a part of the narrative, who've supported the narrative, gone along with the narrative, they're suddenly changing. They're refusing to get involved back in the narrative, and you all know what I mean. They're just not. And they're panicking. A lot of them have suffered from the narrative. And so now they're not wanting to partake of the narrative. And so our numbers are building. And those that are in the know, those that are pulling the strings, they're aware of this. You know, they know it. So the fight is on. I mean, they'll pull out the big guns soon. It's the children. We know it's the children. I've said it all along. I've said it for years and years. I've said it for over a decade. People have always thought I had something odd, you know, happening within me. I always did. I just didn't know what it was. And really what it is that I don't support the narrative. I have an ethereal intuition that things aren't right. That this is just not real. See, this here, do you know what that is? Most of you will say sand. But really, that could be steel. Other than the fact that just a name, a word, some kind of put together, you know, phrase or word that means sand, you know, using vowels and consonants. But steel, that hard substance, when you magnify it 1,000,000 times, It's like honeycomb. If you had a fine enough needle, you could poke it through steel. If you had a fine enough microscope, you could see through steel. Despite how tightly packed the atoms are and the molecules, it does. Despite that, if you blow it up enough, like the P, C, R test, you blow it up enough, you can see through it. It's Australia Day today. I'm not celebrating, I'm going to work, but it's not that I'm not Australian, I am. I'm a little discombobulated lately. It's, you know, within me I can feel that there's a change coming, and I'm not liking what I'm feeling, and I don't want to spread, you know, negativity to the people. I want to say there are changes, there are good changes, and there's some amazingly good people fighting for all this, who are upholding their end, who probably will give their lives for this in the end. A lot have already. But there's a part of me that just knows there's this huge change coming, there's a big shift. It's kind of like a final big push by the elite. Yeah, I know, I've dreamt it. Old men will dream dreams. Well, I dreamt about it, you know, and I woke up and I was frightened for 2 days. And I don't remember dreams, do I, Joe? Really, unless I fly. I always remember flying. I love flying. It doesn't happen enough. It's happening less lately, which is disconcerting. But it's a beautiful feeling. I don't have to do anything. I can stop mid-air. I can just hop. I don't have to hover. I don't have to. I just stop. Dead still. Look around. And move any direction I want at any given moment. Because that's really what I am, an ethereal being. This is just a cardboard box it's wrapped in. Too many people get lost in paying the electricity bill and building a house and buying a car and changing nappies, getting a job, exercising, watching Netflix. You know, people just get wrapped up in life. They don't see anything else. They never stop to sit and do this and wonder about the purpose of them being here, breathing oxygen. Until something like this comes along to challenge you, which is what it's done for a lot of people. I'm not the man I was yesterday. And the good part about that is I'm not the man I'm going to be tomorrow. This change is ongoing. I accept it. I used to fight against it. I didn't know what it was. I knew that I was separate from others. I just didn't know why. I had no purpose in that respect. And it's hard to share what I'm doing now. It really, really is. It's not something I like to do. It's just something that I do. I try. That old guy Australia, over on BitChute, OE58 on Rumble. Happy Australia Day if you're in Australia and you're out enjoying it, having a barbecue or meeting up with friends, or you're just having a day off and getting on the beers, whatever you're doing. I don't really care. We used to enjoy it. But cultures all around the world are being dismantled under the new socialism. Australia, there's not a lot of togetherness in Australia. People have worked very, very hard behind the scenes to divide us. Christians against Muslims, Muslims against Catholics. Indigenous people against everybody else. They call us white. But really, nobody can explain what white is. Because we're so mixed in our races now, even someone you think is white, like myself, probably isn't like myself. White. And believe me, there's no white privilege in Australia. It's just as tough for everybody. I have some amazing Indigenous friends, really do. And I honestly have said all along that we'll ride to victory on the backs of the indigenous peoples worldwide, because they're the ones who hold the key to this all. You just need to understand that. They're the ones that hold the power, they're the ones who hold the influence, they're the ones that hold the law. They're the ones that have the right. And I'm so happy and blessed and honoured that they're supporting us and fighting with us, for us. Well, Lurnpa, L-U-R-N-P-A, Dave Cole, go watch him, and him and his amazing group of people up in Arnhem Land. Brilliant people. Not representative of the indigenous peoples as a whole, but a lot of them haven't sold out, like David Lurnpa. They haven't sold out. They've retained the dignity and respect of their culture and their law. Anyway, Australia Day 2022. You see this in the future, my son, my daughter, my friends. Today's the day. Children back at school soon, under mandates. Teachers under mandates. Scotty from marketing, our PM, waltzing his smug face before the WEF. You can see that on my Facebook if they haven't taken it down, but it's over on Instagram too. Fourth Industrial Revolution, here it comes. We're congratulated upon being the main instigator and pusher of this in this small country as a test case, because we're isolated, unlike Europe, which has many, many countries and different factions. We're on our own out here. We're a perfect place for a test case. Look at Dan Andrews. Look at Mark McGowan in WA. Gunner in Victoria. Palaszczuk. Look at Scotty. We're all in this together. It's the National Cabinet. Never forget that. They agree on everything that's done in that National Cabinet room. They all agree. Trust me. So whatever Gunner's doing, whatever McGowan's doing, Scotty agrees. Don't ever think that these are people operating as rogue individual premiers. They're not. They've got the National Cabinet. Scotty's the only man. He chairs the whole thing. And he's refused under Freedom of Information to release the paperwork on that. Although he's been told to, time will tell. Well, the truth will come out. One day it'll all come out. It will come out. Peace and light. That old guy Australia. Love you all. Have a fantastic day. Whatever you're doing, take time out today to hug somebody. Just give them a hug. And if you're a bloke, hug your mate. If he can. So, I don't know. Just thought I'd give you a hug. Maybe you needed one.